I'm Gary Hess, News Radio WRVA, the voice of Virginia.
9:33, the experiment. 9:33, the experiment with Rich Herrera. The 9:33 experiment. 9:33.
All right, 9:33. We open up the phone lines for you. I don't know what's going to happen. That's why we call it an experiment. It's completely free-flowing radio. There are times where the phone lines jam. There are times where it's crickets. That's okay. It's just your opportunity to have an open forum here on News Radio WRVA. I think it's important. 833-804-1140. 833-804-1140. That's why we call it the experiment. So here's the deal. I was just thinking about this when I saw that Lindsey Graham had passed away. So I woke up like most of you on Sunday, like, oh man, I didn't know he was sick. Find out he had heart disease and he died. Lindsey Graham was a member of the U.S. Senate. He originally, people got to know him when he was one of the impeachment managers of Bill Clinton during Clinton's impeachment trials. Then he moves on to the Senate. He becomes very close with John McCain. And then after the passing of John McCain, kind of steps out of the shadow and becomes one of the biggest advocates for Israel and for Ukraine. What a great life of a man that lost his parents when he was 19 years old, adopts his 13-year-old daughter, or 13-year-old, sister to take care of her, and comes from a very humble beginning to becoming a United States Senator. That's why the American dream is alive and well. A lot of people won't say that. I will. But when he passes away, I see the usual, oh, great man, great man. And then I see the usual, I didn't agree with him a lot, but he was a great man. So he saw both of those. And then, of course, I saw the people just coming with just the most venom on social media, talking about how much they hated him or they hated this. They're just family mourning, and they don't even allow them to mourn before they start attacking him in death. And we've seen it over and over again. We've just lost that ability to look at other people like human beings. So I wanted to ask this morning, is there someone on the other side that you actually like, that you could say something nice about? 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. Or are they all just caricatures and you hate each and every one of them? Listen, I tell you, yeah, there's times where I just want to throw the remote control at the TV because sometimes these politicians get going and I just want to scream at them. Rashida Tlaib, when they had the angel moms, and she goes, well, we've seen this 5 times before. And the mother goes, oh, I'm sorry, we're taking too much of your time. I want to throw the remote at the television. Jamie Raskin, I told you, I shook his hand, said hi to him, being polite, but there's times where I see him over there screaming and yelling, and I just want to throw the remote control at the TV over him. There's lots of people on the other side. I'm trying to think, are there ones that I like? Fetterman comes to mind because he just seems like us. He's just normal. I said cinema. I said Joe Manchin. I'm trying to think if there's anybody in the House of Representatives that I like. Are there any Democrats I like in the General Assembly? The governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general. So I'm just as guilty as everyone else. Why are we like this? Why is it that I look at the other side and it just makes my blood boil before a word comes out of their mouth? And I don't know if you do this. You look to see when you see someone on TV, you don't recognize them. And all of a sudden you look to see, is there an R or a D next to their name? And that's how I decide whether I like them or not. 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. Where am I going to start first? Oh, I got a bunch of text messages. Oh, someone. This is a nice person. This is someone who hammers me all the time. Your fake tears deserve an Oscar. Actually, I get teased all the time because I do get emotional over things. So thank you. I can go tell my family and everything. I'm just faking it. Let's see. Fetterman is the most reasonable. He has common sense. I got a bunch of text messages like that. All right, let me get started over here. 833-804-1140. Why is it that we just hate the other side so much? I can't bring myself to even look at them without just, you drive me crazy. All right, 833-804-1140. Dave's getting inundated with phone calls right now, screening all of them. We'll get you on here in just a second. Quick reminder, go to WRVA.com. We're ready to go with our golf tournament. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna raise money, T to T, Tunnel to Towers, and they're great people. They raise money and take care of fallen servicemen and first responders. So that's where we're going to raise money. The golf tournament, Hunting Hawk, September 22nd. It's a Tuesday morning. Please, if you can, and you're a golfer, please come play golf with us as we raise money for Tunnel to Tower. Let's go to Daniel on line one. Daniel, welcome. You're on News Radio WRVA. Good morning.
Hey there, how's it going?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Peachy this morning.
That's great. All right, what do you got for me?
Well, yes, to say something nice about someone on the opposite side of the political aisle of us.
Right.
I don't like her politics one bit. I don't like what she stands for, but I absolutely have to say I believe with the best of intentions that AOC has good intentions in what she does, and I have to say she hasn't used her position in Congress to embezzle the stock market the way most politicians have.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to rain on your parade. I'm not going to say anything. I'm glad there's somebody across the aisle. What about her do you like?
Well, like I said, I just the biggest thing is that I don't believe in her politics. I don't believe what she's pushing, but I believe she's pushing it for what she believes in. I believe she actually is trying to better her district.
Okay.
And like I said, she's most people in Congress use that position to get involved in insider trading, and she's not. Her net worth hasn't gone up since joining Congress the way some others have. Most notably,
Nancy Pelosi.
I can't. Yeah, well, Nancy Pelosi, but there was another one I was thinking of right offhand. The Muslim woman out of Michigan, I think.
Oh no, you're
Ilhan
thinking
Omar.
no. You're thinking Elon Omar from Minnesota. Dan Crenshaw would be another that gets mentioned for someone who's become filthy rich since they moved to DC.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar was one I was thinking of. Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. Hey, you know what,
John?
Dan, I appreciate your call. Thank you. Appreciate that. Again, you know what? Here's where we are. Here's where we are. That right now the line is put at, here's who I don't hate. That tells you how divided we are. Where are we going to go? Tom on line two?
John.
Oh, John on line two. John, welcome. You're on News Radio WRVA.
Hey, Rich, you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Guy is Fetterman. They all need to pass a law where their relatives can't invest for them and have money. That's bottom line. There's just total insider trading, big time.
Okay.
And that's against the law for us. We can't do that. Anyway.
No, John, hold on. John, hold on a second. I want to ask you a question. When I look at, so we all love our local congressman, right? That's why we keep voting for the same people over, but we hate Congress. Do you see that?
Hey, what?
We love our local congressman because incumbents normally get sent back to DC, right?
Sure.
But when we get the whole, I love my guy here, but I hate the rest of Congress. So there's a little bit of a disconnect, right?
Sure there is.
Okay. So this is fascinating for me. How much do you resent people that go to DC and get filthy rich while they're there and their job is to serve the public, but they seem to serve themselves.
I don't really begrudge anybody making money,
Okay.
but if the average citizen can't do it, how can they do it? That's my issue right there.
So is it they're making money or they're voting? And see, I guess is it voting and making money, or are you worried that their votes, they care more about the money they're going to make than voting the right way?
It could be. It could be. I mean, I disagree with the other caller. I think, what's her name? I don't really keep up with her, but she's made some money. She couldn't even pay rent when she first became a senator. And, somehow she's worth $10 million now. I don't know how that happened.
Right.
But,
Wouldn't you like to be worth $10 million?
Sure, wouldn't you?
You're darn right I would.
I don't know.
You're darn right I would. That's why I go buy Powerball tickets one day, maybe. You never know. And that's the part where I think I'm learning more and more. People are resentful of the fact that we send you to D.C. to do the people's work, but it seems like a lot of them want to do their own work and come away with a ton of money, while the rest of us look at this as it's supposed to be you being a public service. And I think some people, and you see this with people on both sides, they use their position to enrich themselves, not look out for the people.
Well, look at our founding fathers. Our founding fathers, most of them had pretty good money at one time or another.
Right.
But, you can't commit to this and be a pauper. You got to have some kind of money to, go do things and campaign and all that stuff. I get it.
Sure.
But they need to do the same thing that you and I do. We need to go out and get, advertisers. We need to go out and get people to support our views. I get it. But, they have rules with that, which I don't know. I have no idea about the rules on campaign monies or anything like that.
Well, okay,
so deep dive.
Yeah, no, and that's great, because when you look at this, all the money they make, all the money they bring in. Okay, you and I don't think we could afford to just go out and run for office. I mean, you have to leave your job. It's really tough. So yeah, it's 100% of a numbers game. And while I want everyday people, I guess the other part that I don't like, John, is the fact that they stay there forever. I'd rather people be like George Washington and leave and give back the power than keep it for, like, I look at Debbie Dingell. I'm not picking on her per se, but the Dingell family has held on to that seat for, I think it's 8 decades. Her father-in-law had it forever. Then her husband had it forever. Now she's had it forever. I have to look this up, but I want to say it's at least 8 decades. The Dingell family has had that congressional seat.
Well,
that's why we get where we are.
Here's the fence. The fence is the people elected them. It's the Dingell family. It could be the whomever family, Kennedy family. It could be whatever.
Right.
Oh, they've done a good job. I enjoy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Grandfather and great-grandfather said this is the best guy. Stay with the family. I call a little BS on that. I think that we need to, really filter down. And it's with the media. The media does everything. You're part of the media.
Yep.
I mean, you talk about divide. I like what you're doing because you're trying to get other influences on the right and left, and more for we need to talk more to the left people because they can be convinced that the right way is the right.
No, okay. You know what? And this is why I love having this conversation with you, because I sincerely think, Ronald Reagan said it, the Democratic Party didn't leave me. I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me. If I'm a Democrat right now, and I've got a couple of friends that are Democrats, like, I hate to tell you this, Rich, but I think you're right, because my party's gone so far over to the other side. They're like, this isn't the Democratic Party that I knew. And these are people like, hey, I like Nancy Pelosi. Like, we're never going to see eye to eye. Now they're like, they've got even further than Nancy Pelosi, I don't even know what party I belong to anymore. So I tell people all the time. I'll tell you this, John. You know, Ron DeSantis down in Florida, everybody talks about what a great job he's done. For DeSantis, well, DeSantis barely won. He barely won his first election over a guy named Gillum. And it was so close. And Gillum, meanwhile, has been sent to jail and prison now. DeSantis barely wins, but he does such a great job. He took a state that was a battleground, made it purely red just by doing a great job over there. You don't need to win the hearts and minds of everyone. If you're a Republican, 5% come over. If you win 5% of the Democratic vote that they always have, that's a 10% swing. That's the difference between having a blue state and a red state. And then once you get that red state governor and legislature in there, then they better do a great job. And if they do a great job, you could become Florida. If you do a bad job, you look what we see here in Virginia. I think the people in Virginia will probably look a different way when you see how this state has been run in a very short time.
Oh, 100%. What about putting caps on how much they can raise to campaign?
Well, see, that's the other part. We just had a Supreme Court decision that said now candidates and PACs can coordinate together. If you thought you got inundated with TV ads, you ain't seen nothing yet. The next election cycle will be absolute bedlam, that the PACs and the private money can now coordinate with the candidates directly. We're about to see something we've never seen in the name of free speech. Hey, John, I've enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate it. See, that's why I love doing the experiment. I get to hear from people and hear real people with real opinions. And that, you guys made my day. I got a bunch of other questions over here. Scott the Independent. Rich, you say some Democrats hate Trump. Rich, do they hate Trump or just dislike Trump? It ties into what you're saying about something. Okay. I can't find the rest of your text message. All right. Anyway, we'll read some. Oh, I got one. Margaret Chesterfield. I like Morrissey and I like Doug Wilder. Okay, Doug Wilder's one, universally beloved by everybody. All right, that's going to do it for the program for today. Hey, don't forget, made the big announcement, T2T, Tunnel to Towers. We will have our golf tournament September 22nd. You can go to WRVA.com to find out more details. Just start getting together a foursome. Let's raise money for this wonderful cause. We'll pay it forward. Hopefully they'll never have to buy a home, pay off a mortgage for anyone here in our area. But in case it does, they're great people. Let's raise money for a great cause. People that step up and take care of our first responders and our men and women in the military. T2T.org, Tunnel to Towers. And we'll raise money for them. First ever Swing for Heroes. That's FORE for Swing for Heroes. Go to WRVA.com to find out more details. All right, that's going to wrap up the program for today. I want to thank everybody. And by the way, a lot of our conversations are on our website, WRVA.com. You can also find them on YouTube. I'll have clips at News Radio, WRVA, and Rich, the number 4 America. Talked a lot about a lot of great things today that I think you want to share with your friends. Rich for America and News Radio, WRVA on social media. Share those if you will. Time for a national anthem brought to you by Freedom Services, a training, the biggest gun store in town, located in Mechanicsville. I get up every morning before dawn because there's some things I think that are worth standing up for. Number 1 is my family. Number 2 is this great country. That's why we get up every morning and do this on News Radio, WRVA.
Please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America.